For nearly a decade, critics of Donald Trump have responded to each new racial controversy with the same pained refrain: "This is not who we are as Americans." The phrase is meant as a moral boundary, a declaration that whatever ugliness has surfaced must be an aberration rather than a reflection. Yet the persistence, escalation, and normalization of Trump's racist behavior, most recently underscored by his reposting of a video depicting Barack and Michelle Obama as apes, forces a more uncomfortable reckoning. The evidence does not merely suggest personal prejudice or momentary lapses in judgment. It points instead to a lifelong commitment to racial grievance, nurtured by and rewarded within a political culture that remains deeply racist. If Trump is a symptom, not an anomaly, then perhaps this is who America is, or at least who it has repeatedly allowed itself to be. The Obama video controversy did not emerge in a vacuum. Trump's Truth Social repost of a racist meme relied on one of the oldest and most dehumanizing tropes in Western racism, the comparison of black people to primates. That the targets were the nation's first black president and first lady only amplifies the offense. The post circulated for roughly half a day before being removed, after intense backlash from Democrats, civil rights advocates, and a small number of Republicans. The White House initially attempted to dismiss the outrage as overreaction to an internet meme, only later claiming that the post had been made erroneously by a staffer. This retreat, rare for a president who typically doubles down, did not signal remorse so much as damage control. By the end of the day, Trump admitted he did direct aides to post it, but claimed he did not see that part of the video, which was near the end of a 62-second clip that otherwise repeated conspiracy theories about his 2020 election loss.
Who sent it, and are you going to fire them?
I looked at it, I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There was a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud. And I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things. I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine. They had that one post, and I guess it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people covered. If you look at where it came from, I guess it was a takeoff from The Lion King, and certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it.
What made the incident especially revealing was not simply the content of the post, but the institutional response to it. The reluctance of Republican leadership to condemn the imagery, the effort to shift blame to an unnamed aide, and the earlier mockery of those offended all reinforced a familiar pattern. Racism is minimized, reframed, or bureaucratized until accountability evaporates. When critics say this is not who we are, they often ignore how routinely the system closes ranks around such behavior. Trump's defenders have long insisted that his words and actions are misunderstood, exaggerated, or merely provocative, but his record tells a different story. From his early career promoting the false conspiracy that Barack Obama was not born in the United States, to his attacks on Mexican immigrants as criminals, to his disparagement of black communities and immigrants from non-white countries, Trump has consistently framed racial difference as threat and inferiority. The Obama video fits seamlessly into this arc. It was not a deviation from character, it was an expression of it. The timing and manner of the post further deepen concerns. The repost appeared during one of Trump's increasingly frequent late-night social media sprees, episodes marked by volume, vitriol, and impulsiveness. In recent months, he has fired off dozens, sometimes hundreds of posts in the middle of the night, lashing out at perceived enemies and recycling conspiratorial narratives. Observers have noticed that this behavior coincides with public moments of apparent fatigue or disengagement, including reports of him dozing off during official meetings. While questions about mental acuity are politically sensitive, they become unavoidable when a sitting president uses his platform to amplify racist imagery without restraint. Still, focusing solely on Trump risks missing the larger point. He has not survived politically despite his behavior, but alongside it. Time and time again, his base has excused or embraced rhetoric that would once have ended political careers. The backlash to the Obama post was loud, but it was also revealingly limited. A handful of Republicans expressed discomfort. Party leadership largely stayed silent. This pattern mirrors countless earlier episodes. Outrage flares, statements are issued, and then the system absorbs the shock and moves on. Each cycle lowers the bar a little further. This is where the refrain, that this is not who we are, begins to sound less like aspiration and more like denial. America's history is saturated with racial violence, exclusion and dehumanization, from slavery and Jim Crow to redlining and mass incarceration. Trump's rhetoric does not invent these realities, it resurrects and repackages them. The shock many feel at seeing such language emerge from the presidency reflects not the novelty of the ideas, but the breaking of a long-standing illusion that power would always cloak them in euphemism. Defenders of American exceptionalism often argue that the nation is defined by its progress, not its failures. Yet progress has always been contested, partial, and fragile. The fact that a president can publicly demean his black predecessor using racist caricature and face only muted consequences suggests that racism is not a fringe deviation, but a persistent feature of political life. Trump's success has depended on his willingness to say aloud what others implied, and on an electorate willing to reward that candor. Comparisons with other presidents underscore this point. Questions about cognitive decline or fitness for office have been raised before, including during Joe Biden's presidency. But at no point did Biden use racial slurs, circulate dehumanizing imagery, or target entire ethnic communities for contempt. Trump's behavior is not simply about age or temperament, it is about values and choices. He has repeatedly chosen to inflame racial resentment because it works, for him and for the movement he leads. Beyond the personal conduct of Donald Trump, the broader legal and institutional landscape in the United States has also reflected and reinforced racially discriminatory practices, even at the highest levels of government. Last year, the U.S. Supreme Court, whose far-right majority includes justices appointed by Trump, lifted lower court restrictions on federal immigration enforcement that had prohibited Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents from stopping and detaining individuals based on factors like race, language, or occupation, effectively permitting them to consider someone's appearance or accent when deciding whom to question or arrest during immigration operations. This judicial decision, coming at a time of aggressive immigration enforcement under the Trump regime, underscores how systemic racism is not only reflected in rhetoric, but also codified in legal and enforcement frameworks, challenging the notion that discriminatory practices are isolated aberrations rather than structural features of American governance. The Obama post may eventually fade from headlines, absorbed into the long list of Trump controversies, but it should linger as a mirror. When Americans insist again and again that this is not who we are, they must confront why such moments keep happening, why they are tolerated, and why they rarely produce lasting consequences. Trump did not smuggle racism into American politics. He exposed how deeply embedded it already was. In that sense, the most disturbing aspect of Trump's lifelong commitment to racism is not its brazenness, but its familiarity. The outrage it provokes coexists with resignation, the condemnation with complicity. If America truly wants to claim that this is not who it is, that claim must be proven through action, not repetition. Until then, the evidence suggests a harsher truth. Trump is not an aberration standing outside American values. He is a reflection of a nation still unwilling to fully reckon with its own. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.